Are you sucking at price? I've got Jon here today from Smallfish, and we are talking about resisting price pressure. Are you so often going into a sales conversation and they're like, oh, you're too expensive? This is something that, of course, our program doesn't specifically fix, but I have a man who is on the job and can do it and help you, I guess, and resist these price pressures. So Jon Dale from Smallfish, hello.
Hey Steph, how are you?
Yeah, good. Now, first things first, I believe you've just come back from a big weekend.
6-day bender.
A big day. Wow.
Birthday party for my friend, and 13 of us got together at Seal Rock's Lighthouse and partied for a week.
Oh, sweet. So you're a human as well as a business coach.
Yeah, and I'm exhausted.
Sweet. Well, look, I'll give you the reins. Tell me what's going on in the market with these traders and builders, and what's these stories that you've also heard about being price sensitive and people saying, oh, you're too expensive. We've got to keep our margins so that we can keep our profit and keep running as a business.
Yeah.
So tell us, what's going on?
Well, a few things, a lot of my customers who come to me worry about being too expensive. There's a lot of pressure out there in the market, right? There's general pressure, I'm too expensive, and there's specific pressure when someone says, I would like to buy it from you, but you're too expensive. And it's all pervasive, and so many people are so concerned about being too expensive, about being called too expensive or greedy or wrong somehow, that what happens is they don't make enough margin, and then they end up running a skinny business and they end up working pretty hard and not making much money.
Yep. And that skinny's going to make zero cash to put into marketing, so you can't generate any new customers, so therefore you just die.
Yeah, and I think there are people who think that I know builders charging 10 and 15% as a builder's margin.
Yeah.
I had a guy who was turning over 3 million and almost making nothing. And
what for?
I know why. I'm looking at his figures. I can see why.
Yeah. But
10%,
I mean, what's the fun in turning over top line 3 mil if you're making 30 grand at the bottom?
That's right. You can't. It's not right. So, you need to be making 20 and 30%, not 15 or 20.
Yep.
For a builder or another trade, 30% would be ideal, and people aren't. And that's what I'm seeing. People aren't. There are a number of reasons, but one of them is you're not charging enough, and you're allowing yourself to feel that price pressure.
Yeah.
I think people second guess themselves a bit, so they start cheap.
Yep.
And they get pressured throughout the negotiation, and they get cheaper.
Yeah, they go even lower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you make a mistake on a job.
Ooh.
And you get your margin chopped away like that,
Yeah, they go to like 50 grand of just fixing.
Yeah. Look, I did want to say there's a thing that goes on, I think, when you start and it's kind of just you or you and your dog or whatever, it doesn't really matter. You can be cheap. You've got no expenses.
You can get away with it.
Well, you just can, right? Because you can just work harder. The only cost to you is you have to do more work.
Yep.
So if you're a bit cheap, you just earn less. But you can still earn because you don't really have anything to spend, so you can still earn. But once you start hiring people, it's different, man. You can't pay them less. You can't go, oh, I had to go a bit cheap on this job, so I can only pay you $20 an hour.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that, right?
No.
So there's that, right? You can't pay them less. So you're caught in this pincer movement, aren't you? Your costs are all still there, but you're charging less, nothing left for you. And of course, as you grow, you accumulate your overheads. I like this bit. I wrote this in my notes, vehicles, insurance, marketing people, business coach, very important.
Marketing people cost a fortune, I've heard.
They're very important and necessary. Right? Even admin people and premises and shit like that, right? So there's stuff to spend, and it doesn't work anymore. Being cheap doesn't work anymore. You can't pay for proper, decent tradespeople to do a good job and have premises for them to work from and be insured and et cetera, and still make a profit if you're too cheap. And I see that journey. As you grow, you have to grow from being the cheap guy to being not the cheap guy anymore.
Yeah. But don't you wish that they just started out as the expensive guy? Like, even though you're one guy without a very nice truck that's got no glossy signage, but you're the most expensive guy out because you've got a plan.
Yeah, well, because your quality of work's good,
Yeah.
Most of the people I talk to are proud of the work they do and then suffer with this, oh, but I can't be expensive. I must be cheap.
Yeah.
And it's difficult, right? I spend a lot of time with people trying to help them beat that paradigm a bit. I'm usually kicking people's asses to charge more money.
I do like a good ass kicking.
Yeah. It's a gentle one. It's usually gentle. It's not always.
It's gentle. Okay, all right. I usually like get a paddle and like really whip it into them.
Yeah, I've had a few of those situations. For fuck's sake, what are you doing? We're not making any money.
I think like for me, like I think when you bring on a staff member and you have to pay them a wage, then you very quickly realize you are not paying yourself enough, you are not charging enough, and things are real. And I think the faster that every tradesman duplicates himself, gets the apprentice or gets another fully qualified gentleman or female on board, I think that opens up just that business brain immediately.
Yeah,
wow.
Right, yeah. It has to, or you can suffer.
Yeah.
You're frustrated, right? You know, I spoke to a guy recently who's been working for years, and he's come to me and he said, it's not working. And he didn't really know that he wasn't making any money.
Yeah.
You know, because it's easy to do that, right? It's easy to just sort of get along and find work, do it, and, you know. And
your accountant just goes, oh, there's a little bit of profit left, all good.
Well, yeah.
You know, the accounts, they're not really in there in your business, are they?
No. They usually say things like, oh, well done, not much tax to pay this year.
Yeah.
And, you know.
And that's a trap too, I think, for trades and builders. You know, oh, I don't want to pay too much tax. My accountant's really good. He says I'm doing well because we haven't paid much tax this year. But obviously, the more tax you pay, the bigger year you've had. And it's just about managing all those little bits and pieces.
Yeah.
So you said something just then that just tricked, you know, just sort of like made a bit of a light bulb go off in my head. So you help these tradies and builders really understand what their margins are currently. Like you just said that a guy was working for 10 years, let's say, and he just had no idea that he wasn't actually profitable. And he's probably going to the accountant going, hey, we haven't got much tax to pay. Yeah, fantastic. But no one's actually telling him the reality.
Muddling through, right? That's the big danger. Muddling through. Being
through.
Okay, not really, you know, doing his tax return and having a bill, but not maybe not doing his tax return, maybe not doing his bazzers, getting away with that. And the reason he's been able to survive, like I think he lost 80,000 or something last year.
Ouch.
Now we've finally done his numbers properly and got on top of it. This poor guy lost 80 grand. And he's like, I don't know where I've got it from though, because I managed to live. And I said, well, you didn't pay 80,000 of GST, mate. That's where it came from. Now you owe the ATO 80 grand of GST. Now you've done it.
Shit.
Now you can see how deep a hole you're in, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. I think it's easy to kind of, you know, hide it. You can hide it, right? You don't instantly get taxed with, you're not making any money.
No.
You might go and walk on the beach. You know, what happens is you keep going. I think you're paying everybody, you're paying your bills, and you start kind of accumulate debt that you don't see.
Yeah.
You get credit cards and you borrow money out of the mortgage and you think it's coming.
It's all fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you actually help people work this problem out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. And that's really where I wanted to start, you know, in terms of resisting price pressure. Helps to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Right. You know, if someone says you're too expensive and your brain goes, but I don't make much money, it's easy to go, I don't think I am, you know. If you're rolling in cash and you're driving a car that you bought with cash, or, you know, a top-end ute that you bought with cash money because you're rolling in money, you're living on a beachfront property, sure, maybe I'm too expensive. But, you know, if you're not, probably you're not.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's, you know, I know that's only the first thing, right? The right thing is to know, to understand your numbers, understand your profitability in your business, but also understand what your pricing is.
Yeah.
You know, and I like to call it, I think I call it price position.
Yeah, okay, cool. Love it.
Yeah, right. Do some homework. Set your price right. Most tradies try and charge a similar amount of money, right? Most people are charging between 85 and 110 bucks an hour.
Yeah.
Qualified tradespeople. And I've had people go, in my trade you can't charge that much, sorry, John. You can actually.
Well, you can.
Yeah. So there's that, right? But you need to know what your price is and how it compares to your competition. Just like with a car. You know, Commodore and a BMW cost different amounts of money, not the same car.
Yeah. I mean, they'll get you to the same spot. They'll get you from A to B.
Yeah, they've both got 4 wheels and an engine and 5 seats.
Heat seat heaters.
Blah, blah. right? But they're not the same car, and we all understand that, you know, the BMW costs more money and is worth more money.
Yeah. And it'll get you there in a much more comfortable.
Yeah, look at the Commodore, right? There are people who buy the Commodore, people
Of course.
more, but you know, people who would have bought the Commodore, and people who will spend more money for a nicer Beamer.
Yeah.
But if you're selling a Commodore, you're selling a Commodore, and if you're selling a Beamer, you shouldn't be competing on price with a Commodore.
Yeah. I was just going to say, in marketing too, you can sell Toyota Camrys, like out the door, you know, they're done. Or you can choose to market yourself and sell BMWs as a tradesman. And I think that might be a good mental thing for those watching to go, so am I actually am I building BMWs and you know, delivering them, but selling them at a Camry price because I'm feeling pressured? Or am I actually just happy building Camrys, selling Camrys? And sorry for all the Camry lovers out there.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I did this once. I made a similar analogy, and I got somebody saying, "I drive a Kia. There's nothing wrong with them." And I was
hey, don't shoot us.
the whole video as well. So look, yeah, totally right. Understand your price position relative to the quality that you provide.
Yeah, I was going to add something here, John. If you want to price yourself as a BMW and be exquisite and show people that, then your marketing needs to show that. You need to put a little bit of spit and polish on your marketing.
No, a lot of spit and polish on your marketing. No, it's so right. You know, you've got to understand your price position relative to your quality, and like you said, market yourself and present yourself accordingly. You've also got to understand your costs properly, and a lot of people don't. Right, it's easy not to understand properly, you know. So I do a lot of work there with people as well. Understand what your labour really costs you.
Yeah.
And understand what that means in terms of margin, how to calculate it. Understand what your overheads are costing you, what that means in terms of what you've got to cover before you make any money. You know, and get it right. Get your price right in the first place. And I told a story. Talked about one guy. He's called Ed. I'll tell another story about Matt.
Okay.
And they're a builder, and they told me they were making 20% margins.
Okay.
As builders. And I said, all right. And they said, we need to work on getting busier, John. We've been quiet, we were worried. I said, all right. We worked on getting busier. A few months later, I'm looking at the numbers with them, and I said, well, you're still not making any money, even though you're busier. And they went, yeah. You know, and we both went, what's going on here? And we dug and we looked and we thought, and they weren't making 20%, right? The margins weren't there. The estimating wasn't right. The margins weren't really on top of it. It was a mess. So we went right back and we reset, right? And we also put systems in place to measure what happened. Because another thing that a lot of people do is they do a job, they quote the job, they finish the job, they send the invoice, and they move on to the next job.
They just pack it and go.
Yeah, right.
Get to the next job.
Yeah.
I need more cash.
Yeah, it's an easy thing to do, but if you don't check that you made the money you thought you were going to make,
yeah,
you know, you're leaving it to chance that you made any money. So we went back and measured, figured it out,
yeah,
and lifted the price by something like 30%.
Okay, which is like, oh my god, how am I supposed to sell that? But it's like, well, there's no point selling it.
You know what though? Like
you're doing it for free.
This is an interesting thing. How am I supposed to sell that? They just put the price forward. And the customer went, okay.
Yep.
Right. They're not really out there, these super educated customers who know that you're too expensive or that you're more expensive than you were. What really happened was before they were too cheap. And now they're reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And quality work,
Rewrite.
Communication, that's what really helps a customer, you know, succeed. It's not really about the figure at the bottom of the document. It's got nothing to do with that really.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Not really. Price is a very fluid thing. So set your price right in the first place.
Okay.
Position relative to the market and understanding what your costs are so you do actually make enough. That's
Got it.
First thing.
Okay. Whoa.
I know.
Mic drop.
Page 2.
Okay. What's the next point you got for me, John?
Well, it's confidence and presentation.
Okay.
Right,
I like this.
So we've started by knowing and making sure we start right with the price right in the first place. Next thing, we've got to present right. And we've got to be confident presenting our price. It's no use going, oh, here's your quote, I hope it's okay.
Yeah, please.
Oh, if it's too expensive, just let me know and I'll reduce it, right? That's not very compelling. But if you go out there and you go, there's your quote, there's your proposal, let me explain it to you.
Take it.
Yeah, right? So you've done your research, you've got a pricing structure.
Yeah.
Right? Most traders have a pricing structure, and then you apply the structure to the quote. Whether it's, I think it's going to take this many hours and I'll put this much on materials, right? Most of you can say, I'm $100 an hour and 20% on materials or 30% on materials. Or they can say, my carpenters are 85 an hour and we charge 20% on subcontractors and materials. Or I have a meterage rate, it's this many dollars a square meter or cubic meter or linear meter. So there's a difference between your price and the cost of a job.
Yeah.
And that's quite important. And I have this conversation a lot, mostly with builders. When the customer says, I want to spend 500,000, and they say, all right, well, the price is this. I will now apply my price to the drawings you've had done. It's come out at 650. And the customer's like, well, what can you do? Like, as if you can magically go, I'll just make less money, can I?
I'll just scrape this off.
Yeah. So there's understanding that, right? That the price is the price and the cost of a job, the quote, is something else again. It's not really the price, it's what the quote came out at when you did the calculations. So the right response to it's more money than I want to spend is, what should we not build then?
Yeah, exactly.
Do the pool, save you 100, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I can take that off the price if we're not there at budget.
Yeah,
cool.
But not, I'll sharpen my pencil.
So no. I can't build your pool for free.
Yeah, really, right? So there's that, right? Confident that your pricing's right and fair, and how that applies to the job that's being requested. Okay. There's confidence from marketing.
Yeah.
And you'll like this bit, do your marketing properly. And I mean I didn't mean enough, right? I've written plenty leads equals plenty confident.
Yep.
Right. So if you're rolling in leads and you've got inquiries coming out and you're talking to plenty of people, you've got a pipeline, right? In my coaching, we use a quote tracker. If we've got project trades, and we're talking, what about that job? What about that job? If that's full of jobs that you might land, somebody says you're too expensive, it's real easy to say, no, I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm not. You're mistaken.
Yeah.
Why don't you go and compare me to somebody else? Let me help you understand.
Yeah. Right? I don't care.
Well, just I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, I'm not, because I've done my homework. I know, actually, no, my price is fair.
Yeah. I didn't just pull a number out of my hat here and just give it to you this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marketing builds a queue. Marketing gives you a choice. So if you're doing marketing and you don't have a choice of customers and you don't have a queue of customers lining up so that you can simply present your quote and get a yes or no as quickly as possible and move on to the next person or fulfill that job, that's what marketing is meant to do for you.
Well, here's a nice one for you. Marketing gives you power.
Yes.
Right? If you're in a negotiation, you don't need the job, you've got the power. And if you're in a negotiation and you need the job, you've got no power.
Yeah.
And they say you're too expensive, you have to go, oh, okay. You must be right. So I've got another one as well. Confidence comes from how you appear or how you present. And this is something you touched on just before, If you look good, if your business looks good, right?
Yeah.
Your website looks good, your branding looks good, your vehicles look good, your proposals look good, your people out on site look good, then you're worth more. You just are, right? If you turn up in a beat up old car and you get your tools out of the boot of your wagon, your station wagon, whatever they're called, and you look like somebody who does it part-time, then you can't charge much.
Yeah.
You come out
presentation
in a nice van and your website looks good, or you present a proposal that looks a bit sexy, right? And I have a lot of my project trades, so the ones doing bigger jobs, I have them making a sexy proposal template, printing it, binding it, and meeting with the customer to sit down over a cup of coffee and present it to them. Which is quite important. It just lifts your game, right? I had a builder, this is actually the same guy I'm talking about, Matt, come back to me after starting to do this saying, I feel so much more confident when I'm talking to them. And I was like, well, yeah, because you're worth more, you've done it compared to an email that you send over.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. There's a process in place. Love it.
Yeah, right. So confidence from being right and fair, from doing your marketing properly, from presenting yourself well. And I had to put a note here for myself, not just fluff. right? Marketing and presenting well can't just be fluff. You know, you can't present yourselves as great and then do a shit job.
No, definitely
That
not.
won't work for long, you know?
No, it won't work for long. You'll eventually run
Yeah.
out and word will get around. 100%. Do good work, charge the right price.
Yeah. Understand why you're worth what you charge, and it needs to be based in reality. It needs to be based in your quality and your service, right? There's more ways to be good at stuff. And I'm back to my Commodore and my BMW here, right? You know, they're both fine. They're both cars. They both get you there. They both got 4 wheels and a steering wheel. They both got V6 engines, and they're very different. And people will pay one amount for one and one amount for the other. Figure out which one you are. Understand it. Be clear about it. Position your price properly. Present it appropriately. Because you can present fancy and you can present workmanlike.
Yeah.
And you can present luxury, you know, and it'll be all about the finishes and how beautiful it's going to be. And you can be about that will get in, get the job done and get out of your way. Depends on who your customer is, right? If your customer's a builder and you're, I don't know, a subcontract plumber, he doesn't want luxury. There's no point dressing up fancy and presenting luxury.
Yeah.
He wants it done right, done first time, no callbacks, and you're out of the way, not holding up the job.
Yeah.
Different things. So you have to present right? The BMW is not always better.
Yeah.
Some people
there's nothing wrong with selling the Camry. There's nothing wrong with it. The most important thing here is margins. There's going to be a margin in there. You actually have to be making money. You're going to be making profit. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with selling the Camry.
Yeah. Look, and if you sell a BMW at a Commodore price, you won't make any margin. You'll take longer making it right. You'll be buying more expensive stuff. You know, you'll make no money. So generally speaking, the cheaper work is, you know, there's less attention paid to detail.
Sure.
It's all right. But be clear.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the last one is in that negotiation, you know, at resisting.
Yeah, right.
It's a very fearful place for, I won't say for tradies, it's a very fearful place for everybody. You know, so when you state your price or you give your price and you get a challenge, it's a quite fearful place to be, isn't it? You know, because they're really saying you're wrong or you're bad.
Yeah.
You're greedy, right? It's quite a
It's
challenge.
awkward. Yeah, it's a challenge. Right. It can be awkward. Yeah, when someone tells you that.
It can be awkward if you haven't done all this homework that I was just talking about. If they say you're too expensive and you're not confident enough to say no, I'm not.
Yeah, actually, my numbers are right, and I don't want to lose on another job. Like.
That's right. Imagine you're too expensive and you're thinking, oh,
am I?
Yeah,
am I?
God,
I think it's the same thing as knowing, am I too cheap? I
reckon most people are too cheap.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
That's an easier conversation. You're too cheap because you can prove it.
Yeah.
But there isn't money.
Yeah.
You've got that tax debt or something. So that's easier. You know, I don't think there's any such thing as too expensive. I was once told.
No, hell no.
No, I was once told as a salesperson, your job is to charge as much as possible.
Yep.
To make them pay as much as they'll pay.
Yeah.
Not by deception or dishonesty, but
no.
To get the customer to pay the maximum that they will accept.
Yep. 100%. Yep.
So I've written here, don't take it on. If someone says you're too expensive, don't take it on. Don't go, oh, no. Did I shrink for the camera then? Oh dear. Don't take it on, you know, be brave and confident in yourself. Don't take it on personally.
Yep.
Be confident, have your preparation done and resist. And I think your preparation for when you're challenged on price is know what to say. Don't go in there and be all surprised when they say you're too expensive. Most of them do, right? It's a traditional thing with tradespeople. You know, 3/4 of your customers think it's their job to tell you you're too expensive. Yeah. Try and get a bit of a discount.
There's this whole bargaining thing, like you've got to ask for a better deal.
Yeah.
And it's simply an objection in the sales process. Know the objection, know what you're meant to say back.
Yeah, look, there's some psychologists, you know, my partner's a psychologist.
Yes.
He's talked to me about, there's some psychology. Some people are just askers. So they feel like they need to ask for a discount, a better price. And once they've done that, their job's done. They don't need to say yes. Once they've asked, they've done the job, you say, no, there isn't any more room to move on price. And they go, okay,
Correct.
job done. We can
That
sign,
is,
you know.
mic drop again there, John. That is so true. They just have to ask, is this the best price? It's your job to breathe in with confidence and go, yes, would you like to get started?
Yeah. So be prepared, right? Have your line ready. Have your standard line that you use. Can you do any better on price? No.
I can't actually.
That's my preferred line. No.
No, and shut up.
Yeah.
and let them counter. Let them come back.
Or fearful. No, that's the right price. It's the best price. I don't discount. So I'm a fan of having a policy, right? A price fair up front, and I don't discount.
Yeah. Awesome.
And I've talked about this a lot in some of my marketing material. You know, if you discount when they say, can you do anything on the price? All that really says is, I was lying when I forgave my first price. I was buying it up, and I'm not really very honest. So your experience with me when we do variations or what have you is going to be a bit shit because you probably think I'm lying again.
Yep, and that is just a job that nobody wants to be a part of.
Sets it all up for mistrust and rubbish.
Yeah.
My preference is the price is fixed and fair, but say this up front in your sales process. I only do one price. I price it. If it's not right, don't do the deal. That's fine. You know, we'd work together or we don't. And then when they come back and say you need to be cheaper, say no. Remember what I said about the price? It's fair. Well, no, I'm not going to. Right? It's fair. Yeah. I could make less money.
I could not make any profit and do this job for free. Is that what you're asking me to do?
Yeah, right. I'm not going to do that.
There's a million ways to answer this question.
It's reasonable, you know, all that stuff. You have your position clear so you can be clear what you say. And I think that's
awesome.
Yeah.
So what were the three, John?
Three were be prepared, understand.
Yeah.
Understand your price and your position, and understand how much you need to make in order to have a successful business.
Yeah.
So start your price right. And I think it's a common thing for people to start too cheap, right? So start right. Yeah. Then the next one is confidence and presentation. Be confident, do your homework, do your marketing, present yourself well. And then the third one is be ready to resist. When you get the inevitable, can you do anything? Yeah, right. And
it's a muscle.
It's a muscle. You can work it like at the gym. Yeah. Yep. You know, you can practice it.
Sweet. Awesome. Wow. Well, that was phenomenal, John. How can people, if someone is watching this and they want to connect with you, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
To buy my stuff.
Buy your stuff. Okay.
Buy my stuff. Yeah. But
all right.
There are a couple of ways, right? I'm running a workshop.
Where can we send them?
We can send them to the Tools Down Workshop.
Yes.
We run one 4 times a year. You go to the website, the Smallfish.
Yep. I'll put some links in so you can see the next one that's coming up next. Okay, sweet. Yep. Tools Down Workshop.
Yeah, it's pretty easy, right? Smallfish and follow your nose. If you can't find it from there, we didn't do a good job on our website, did we?
Smallfish.com.au.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Jon Dale. Jon.
Jon. I'm really Jonathan, right? I'm Jonathan.
Jonathan. Oh, hello, Jonathan.
You're
so different when I call you Jonathan.
Yeah, I know.
As opposed to Jon.
I feel like I'm in trouble now.
All right, Jonathan. Well, I think we'll call it there. I think thank you so much. I know that our followers are going to love this. I so constantly get, is there any advice on pricing or coaching and this kind of thing? And it's fantastic that we can have this conversation. And, if you're watching and you need you've got a few questions, then John's the man. Jonathan is the man.
Thanks, Steph.
All right, over and out, my friends. Until the next video, adios, amigos.